Hey guys! So today I'm going to talk about Cissexism and the Wiccan Rede. If you're new here, what I do is I take parts from the Wiccan Rede that make sense to the topic I'm talking about, and then I list them in paragraphs and I talk about them all individually. Cissexism is discrimination against someone who is not cisgender, which means cisgender is when their gender matches their biological sex. So Cissexism is discriminating against somebody that their gender doesn't match their biological sex. I really dove in deep in this section. Like, I made a chart to help people better understand it, because holy moly, gender and sex is a big topic. If somebody's biological sex does not match up with their gender, it's important not to discriminate against them, because discrimination is bullying, and this can cause emotional and physical harm. Soft divine light of touch, and merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. Show love and understanding to everyone. If you do bully them for being different when they're just being themselves, that's harming them. And ye harm none, do evil. You're not supposed to harm people, because threefold law will pay you a visit. Mind the threefold law you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. So I'm going to show you guys a diagram. Basically, there is chromosomes. If you've taken biology, you're going to be familiar with some of these terms. Even just general biology, I remember learning this in high school. So you have your different chromosomes, and most people assume that XX is always going to be female, and that XY is always going to be male. But females can be born XY, and males can be born XX. And this is where things get really confusing. There's also a bunch of syndromes, which is what we call the other chromosomes, that are different from those ones. I'm not going to go too much into explaining those. You can basically just look them up if you're really interested in learning more about them. Congenital adrenal hyperplasia is when, although born female, XX, they develop male characteristics, and they typically prefer to be raised as male because they develop the male characteristics and they think like a male, so they prefer to be raised as a male in the studies that have been done. Androgen insensitivity syndrome is, although somebody is born male, XY, they develop female characteristics, and they typically prefer to be raised as female in studies. So although these people are born with the chromosomes for being female or male, they are developing the opposite characteristics, so they appear to be a male if they're a female, look like they are a female if they're a male. Gender is different than sex or your biological chromosomes, you know. So people assume that XX means they're gonna look like a female because they have the parts that look like a female, unless they are congenital adrenal hyperplasia. And people think that XY because they have the parts of a male, or they might not if they are androgen insensitivity syndrome. They assume that they are masculine, that they're gonna be a male. And then there's also when somebody might be born XX female or XY male, but they don't identify with that. So although they might be born, say, female in this example, and they might have the female parts or partial female parts depending on if they are congenital adrenal hyperplasia, they think that they are a male in their brain. And so this is what transgender is called, when they wish to switch their gender to match what is inside of their brain. So gender doesn't correspond to their biological sex. Many get reassignment surgery to get the genitalia they feel fit them. And not all transgender people get reassignment surgery. So somebody might be born with male chromosomes, but they might believe they are a female, and they just might not want to get surgery, so they might keep their penis, but they know they are a female. There's also a few other interesting things I want to point out to you guys. So as a general rule, X chromosomes develop ovaries and Y chromosomes develop testes. Looking into all these different chromosomes can be really confusing, which is why people like to stick to the 2 simple ones. But that's not how it is for everybody, and that's why people get so upset when somebody says there's all these different genders and different sexes, and it gets really confusing for people because for so long we've been told there's only 2 sexes, but there's all these other chromosomes. that are syndromes. When you look at these syndromes, you're like, okay, are they female or are they male? Because it gets really confusing. That's why I tried to make this chart the best I could to explain it. Chimera is when a single organism, say me, is composed of different zygotes. So I could have 2 different blood types, or I could have male and female organs. There's also androgynous, I can't talk, androgynous, which is now the newer term for hermaphrodite, which is when you're born with both genitalia, or no genitalia at all. This is also like intersex, when you're born with both male and female characteristics. So you might have ovaries, but you might have a penis. There's all your chromosomes over here, and then there's your genders over here. And most people get really angry when they hear there's 36 genders. I honestly looked at some of them and I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I'm okay with people identifying with whatever you want to identify with, but if somebody's gonna assume that you're a different gender, don't get mad at them, because they're labeling you as what you look like biologically. If you have male characteristics or female characteristics, you can't expect everybody to know what you are, what you identify with, which is why I only included 3 genders. I included male, female, and intersexual. Intersexual I labeled for people that are not male and not female, so they, day to day, they might switch between what they want to be. They might look female, they might look male at the same time. So they might act as both genders, or they might act as none at all. I put that there because that basically sums up all the people that don't fit into male and female. And you know, maybe as time goes on, we will understand the different genders more. But for right now, this is what I'm sticking with, because this is what I could understand from reading through all this information about chromosomes and syndromes and genders and stuff. So pardon me if I made a mistake, but yeah, that is all for this topic, and I will see you guys in another topic.